In a world locked in a brutal, multi-generational war of attrition, a low-born warrior sets aside all notions of honor, safety, and sanity, venturing into the literal fires of hell to transform himself into a weapon of pure, unadulterated vengeance. In Evan Winter's explosive epic debut, The Rage of Dragons, The Burning Book 1, the hyper-focused, lethal progression tracking of Gladiator slams headfirst into the terrifying demonic magic of A Song of Ice and Fire. Winter delivers a visceral masterclass in military fantasy, charting a breathtaking journey where the only thing hotter than a dragon's breath is a man's hatred. The Omahi Military Hierarchy. The gifted, elite women capable of channeling cosmic energy to call down massive, world-altering power and control devastating dragons. The nobles, genetically larger, physically imposing warriors born to lead, wield superior weapons, and rule the battlefield. The lessers, the low-born majority, viewed by the upper class as disposable fodder to be thrown directly into the meat grinder of an endless war. The narrative introduces us to Tau Tafari, a peaceful lesser who wants absolutely nothing to do with his people's eternal conflict. The Omahi people have been fighting a losing war against a native savage populace for centuries, surviving solely because their elite women can summon dragons to turn the tide of battle. Tau's only dream is to get injured just enough to be discharged early, allowing him to settle down in a quiet farming village with the woman he loves. However, his life hits an absolute red line when a pair of arrogant, corrupt nobles brutally murder his father right in front of his eyes for sport, framing it as an act of military discipline. The story scale rapidly narrows into a hyper-focused, terrifyingly intense progression gauntlet. Driven by a blinding need for retribution against the untouchable ruling class, Tau enlists in the elite military academies, dedicating every single waking second to mastering the sword. To bypass his natural, low-born physical limitations and catch up to the genetically superior nobles, Tau executes a suicidal training strategy. He uses a forbidden magic ritual to project his consciousness into the underworld, a terrifying, demon-infested realm of pure agony where time moves at a fraction of the speed of the real world. Every single night while his body sleeps, Tau spends what feels like weeks fighting nightmarish entities in hell, dying thousands of brutal deaths just to sharpen his reflexes. He returns to the waking world as an unhinged, superhuman blurs of steel, terrifying both his allies and his enemies alike. Winter delivers an extraordinary, adrenaline-pumping auditory experience that thrives on relentless pacing, intricate swordplay choreography, and massive, blood-soaked battlefield sieges. The audiobook production perfectly channels this high fantasy momentum, utilizing a roaring, cinematic narrative voice that handles the frantic, breathless panic of hand-to-hand combat and Tau's escalating psychological madness with flawless, striking precision. Will Tau Tafari successfully execute his bloody vengeance and save his people from annihilation, or will the demonic rage consuming his mind burn away the last remnants of his humanity? Pop in your headphones, draw your training swords, and prepare for an exceptional military fantasy ride, because out here, pain is the only teacher that matters.